Episode 2, Chapter 7, Text 13, Scheduled Incarnations of the Lord. We're sitting underneath the Christmas tree. I don't know if it's the original Christmas tree, but it is a Christmas tree. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Right, text 13. The primeval Lord then assumed the tortoise incarnation in order to serve as a resting place pivot for the Mandara mountain, which was acting as a churning rod. The demigods and demons were churning the ocean of milk with the Mandara mountain in order to extract nectar. The mountain moved back and forth, scratching the back of Lord Tortoise, who, while partially sleeping, was experiencing an itching sensation. Purport. Although it is not in our experience, there is a milk ocean within this universe. Even the modern scientists accept that there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of planets hovering over our heads, and each of them has different kinds of climatic conditions. Srimad Bhagavatam gives much information which may not tally with our present experience. But as far as Indian sages are concerned, the knowledge is received from the Vedic literatures, and the authorities accept without any hesitation that we should look through the pages of authentic books of knowledge, Sastra Chakshuvat. So we cannot deny the existence of the ocean of milk as stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam unless and until we have experimentally seen all the planets hovering in space. Since such an experiment is not possible, naturally we have to accept the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam as it is, because it is so accepted by spiritual leaders like Sridhar Swami, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti and others. The Vedic process is to follow in the footsteps of great authorities, and that is the only process for knowing that which is beyond our imagination.
The primeval Lord, being all-powerful, can do whatever he likes, and therefore his assuming the incarnation of a tortoise or fish for serving a particular purpose is not at all astonishing. Therefore, we should not have any hesitation whatsoever in accepting the statements of the authentic scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam.
The gigantic work of churning the milk ocean by the combined effort of the demigods and the demons required a gigantic resting ground or pivot for the gigantic Mandara hill. Everything's gigantic. Thus, to help the attempt of the demigods, the primeval Lord assumed the incarnation of a gigantic tortoise swimming in the ocean of milk. At the same time, the mountain scratched his backbone as he was partially sleeping, and thus relieved his itching sensation.
Amazing. So the Lord performs this entire pastime just to scratch his own back.
Oh dear. You should just do like an extended long arm, and then he could scratch it himself. Which we all would like that, wouldn't we?
Interesting point that we cannot refuse to accept the milk ocean until there is an experiment to check every planet and confirm that this is not true.
Well, that's science, isn't it? That's the whole point of science, isn't it?
Is it? Does science say that you have to test everything until you prove it's not true, or they say that this is true because you can see it, taste it, touch it, smell it, kind of thing?
Right, yeah.
Well,
Text 14. The
my
person.
turn,
Yeah, that's right, but you told me to.
The personality of Godhead assumed the incarnation of Nrsingadev in order to vanquish the great fears of the demigods. He killed the king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, who challenged the Lord with a club in his hand, by placing the demon on his thighs and piercing him with his nails, rolling his eyebrows in anger, and showing his fearful teeth and mouth. Purport. The history of Hiranyakashipu and his great devotee son Prahlad Maharaj is narrated in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hiranyakashipu became very powerful by material achievements and thought himself to be immortal by the grace of Brahmaji. Brahmaji declined to award him the benediction of immortality because he himself is not an immortal being. But Hiranyakashipu derived Brahmaji's benediction in a roundabout way. almost equal to becoming an immortal being. Hiranyakashipu was sure that he would not be killed by any man or demigod or by any kind of known weapon, nor would he die in day or night. The Lord, however, assumed the incarnation of half man and half lion, which was beyond the imagination of a materialistic demon like Hiranyakashipu, and thus keeping pace with the benediction of Brahmaji, the Lord killed him. He killed him on his lap, so that he was neither on the land, nor on the water, nor in the sky. The demon was pierced by Nrsingadev's nails, which were beyond the human weapons imaginable by Hiranyakashipu. The literal meaning of Hiranyakashipu is one who is after gold and soft bedding, and the ultimate aim of all materialistic men. Such demonic men who have no relationship with God gradually become puffed up by material acquisitions and begin to challenge the authority of the Supreme Lord and torture those who are devotees of the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj happened to be the son of Hiranyakashipu, and because the boy was a great devotee, his father tortured him to the best of his ability. In this extreme situation, the Lord assumed the incarnation of Nrsingadev, and just to finish the enemy of the demigods, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu in a manner beyond the demon's imagination. Materialistic plans of godless demons are always frustrated by the all-powerful Lord. Tear in my life.
Oh.
It's so cold out here.
Text 15. The leader of the elephants, whose leg was attacked in a river by a crocodile of superior strength, was much aggrieved. Taking a lotus flower in his trunk, he addressed the Lord, saying, O original enjoyer, Lord of the universe, O deliverer, as famous as a place of pilgrimage, all I purify simply by hearing your holy name, which is worthy to be chanted. Purport. The history of delivering the leader of the elephants, whose leg was attacked in the river by a crocodile of superior strength, is described in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Since the Lord is absolute knowledge, there is no difference between his holy name and the personality of Godhead. The leader of the elephants was much distressed when he was attacked by the crocodile. Although an elephant is generally stronger than a crocodile, the latter is stronger than an elephant when it is in the water. But because the elephant had been a great devotee of the Lord in his previous birth, he was able to chant the holy name of the Lord by dint of his past good deeds. Every living entity is always distressed in this material world, because this place is such that at every step one has to meet with some kind of distress. But one who is supported by his past good deeds engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.16. Those who are supported by impious acts cannot be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, even though they are distressed. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.15. The personality of Godhead, Hari, appeared at once on the back of his eternal bearer Garuda and delivered the elephant.
The elephant was conscious of his relation with the Supreme Lord. He addressed the Lord as Adi Purusha, or the original enjoyer. Both the Lord and the living beings are conscious and are therefore enjoyers, but the Lord is the original enjoyer because he is the creator of everything. In a family, both the father and his sons are undoubtedly enjoyers, but the father is the original enjoyer, and the sons are subsequent enjoyers. A pure devotee knows well that everything in the universe is the property of the Lord, and that a living entity can enjoy a thing as ordained by the Lord. A living being cannot even touch a thing which is not allotted to him. This idea is the original enjoyer. This idea of the original enjoyer is explained very nicely in the Ishopanishad. One who knows this difference between the Lord and himself never accepts anything without first offering it to the Lord.
The elephant addressed the Lord as Akila Lokanath, or the Lord of the universe, who is therefore the Lord of the elephant also. The elephant, being a pure devotee of the Lord, specifically deserved to be saved from the attack of the crocodile. And because it is a promise of the Lord that his devotee will never be vanquished, it was quite befitting that the elephant called upon the Lord to protect him, and the merciful Lord also at once responded. The Lord is the protector of everyone, but he is the first protector of one who acknowledges the superiority of the Lord instead of being so falsely proud as to deny the superiority of the Lord or to claim to be equal to the Lord. He is ever superior. A pure devotee of the Lord knows this difference between the Lord and himself. Therefore, a pure devotee is given first preference because of his full dependence, whereas a person who denies the existence of the Lord and declares himself the Lord is called Asura, and as such he is given protection by the strength of limited powers subject to the sanction of the Lord. Since the Lord is superior to everyone, his protection is also superior. No one can imagine
Protection or perfection?
protection. No one can imagine it.
The elephant addressed the Lord as Tirthashrava, or as famous as a place of pilgrimage. People go to places of pilgrimages in order to be delivered from the reactions of unknown sinful acts. But one can be freed from all sinful reactions simply by remembering his holy name. The Lord is therefore as good as the holy places of pilgrimage. One can be free from all sinful reactions after reaching a place of pilgrimage, but one can have the same benefit at home or at any place simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Wow, there you go. For a pure devotee, there is no need to go to the holy place of pilgrimage. He can be delivered from all sinful acts simply by remembering the Lord in earnestness. A pure devotee of the Lord never commits any sinful acts, but because the whole world is full of sinful atmosphere, even a pure devotee may commit sin unconsciously as a matter of course. One who commits sinful acts consciously cannot be worthy of being a devotee of the Lord. But a pure devotee who unconsciously does something sinful is certainly delivered by the Lord, because a pure devotee remembers the Lord always.
The Lord's holy name is called Shravana Mangala. This means that one receives everything auspicious simply by hearing the holy name. In another place in Srimad Bhagavatam, his holy name is described as Punya Shravana Kirtan. It is a pious act simply to chant and hear all about the Lord. The Lord descends to this earth and acts like others in connection with the activities of the world, just to create subject matters for hearing about him. Otherwise, the Lord has nothing to do in this world, nor has he any obligation to do anything. He comes out of his own causeless mercy and acts as he desires, and the Vedas and Puranas are full of descriptions of his different activities so that people in general may naturally be eager to hear and read something about his activities. Generally, however, the modern fictions and novels of the world occupy a greater part of people's valuable time. Such literatures cannot do good to anyone. On the contrary, they agitate the young mind unnecessarily and increase the modes of passion and ignorance, leading to increasing bondage to the material conditions. The same aptitude for hearing and reading is better utilized in hearing and reading of the Lord's activities. This will give one all-around benefit.
It is concluded, therefore, that the holy name of the Lord and topics in relation with him are always worth hearing. Therefore, he is called here in this verse Namadeya, or one whose holy name is worth chanting. That's a nice name. There's a little bug in there.
Right? Yeah. Some bugs taking shelter of the Bhagavatam, but it's going to be bug patty when I turn the page, so... Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh, I need to jump up and down.
So it's an interesting point brought up here.
It's gone up my
About
sleeve.
it's a bug. It's a microscope. And so it's an interesting point that's brought up here that how sins are relieved by one who goes to a holy tirtha, and anywhere that you chant the holy names, this is the same. So basically, wherever we can get together and chant. Also mentioned that devotees may commit sinful activities unconsciously, but anyone who commits sinful acts consciously can't really be considered a devotee. So that's an important point to mark, I think. So text number 16. Personality of Godhead.
No, it's me.
Oh.
You read Namadea.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Short paragraph.
The personality of Godhead, after hearing the elephant's plea, felt that the elephant needed his immediate help, for he was in great distress. Thus at once the Lord appeared there on the wings of the kings of Garuda.
King of birds.
Oh, right, I'm getting distracted. The king of birds, Garuda, fully equipped with his weapon, the wheel, which is the chakra. With the wheel, he cut to pieces the mouth of the crocodile to save the elephant, and he delivered the elephant by lifting him by his trunk. There's no need to do all that, really, is it?
Come on, leave.
Oh, but... Oh, what's he doing? The Lord resides in his Vaikuntha planet. No one can estimate how far away this planet is situated. It is said, however, that anyone trying to reach that planet by airships or by mine ships, traveling for millions of years, will find it still unknown. Modern scientists have invented airships which are material, and the yogis make a still finer material attempt to travel by mine ships. The yogis can reach any distant place very quickly with the help of mine ships. But neither the airship nor the mine ship has access to the kingdom of God in the Vaikuntha Loka, situated far beyond the material sky. Since this is a situation, how was it possible for the prayers of the elephant to be heard from such an unlimitedly distant place? And how could the Lord at once appear on the spot? These things cannot be calculated by human imagination. All this was possible by the unlimited power of the Lord, and therefore the Lord is described here as Aprameya. For not even the best human brain can estimate his powers and potencies by mathematical calculation. The Lord can hear from such a distant place, he can eat from there, and he can appear simultaneously in all places at a moment's notice. Such is the omnipotency of the Lord.
Omnipotency. Text 17. It's interesting. Mind ships.
That means you're traveling in your mind.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't seem like you need a ship in your mind, but I guess in your mind you can get on a ship or board a ship.
No,
and
it's
maybe
not literal ship. It's not literal. It's like an airship where you travel through the speed of air on an aeroplane, and you travel in your mind. It's just a terminology, mind ship.
Okay. Thank you for that in-depth explanation. Text 17. The Lord, although transcendental to all material modes, still surpassed all the qualities of the sons of Aditi, known as the Adityas. The Lord appeared as the youngest of Aditi, youngest son of Aditi, and because he surpassed all the planets of the universe, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the pretense of asking for a measurement of 3 footsteps of land, he took away all the lands of Bali Maharaj. He asked simply because, without begging, no authority can take one's rightful possessions. Purport. The history of Bali Maharaj and his charity to Vamanadeva is described in the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bali Maharaj conquered all the planets of the universe by rightful possession. A king can conquer other kings by strength, and such possessions is considered to be rightful. So Bali Maharaj possessed all the lands of the universe, and he happened to be charitably disposed toward the Brahmanas. The Lord therefore pretended to be a beggar Brahmin, and he asked Bali Maharaj for a measurement of 3 footsteps of land. The Lord is the proprietor of everything. The Lord, as the proprietor of everything, could take from Bali Maharaj all the land he possessed. But he did not do so because Bali Maharaj possessed all those lands by king's rights. When Bali Maharaj was asked by Lord Vamana for such small charity, Bali Maharaj's spiritual master named Shukracharya objected to this proposal because he knew that Vamanadeva was Vishnu himself, pretending to be a beggar. Bali Maharaj did not agree to abide by the order of the spiritual master when he understood that the beggar was Vishnu himself, and he at once agreed to give him in charity the land as requested. By this agreement, Lord Vamana covered all the lands of the universe with his first 2 steps, and then asked Bali Maharaj where to place the 3rd step. Bali Maharaj was very glad to receive the Lord's remaining step upon his head, and thus Bali Maharaj, instead of losing everything he possessed, was blessed by the Lord's becoming his constant companion and doorman. So, by giving everything to the cause of the Lord, one does not lose anything, but he gains everything that he could never otherwise expect. Next one or finish?
Yeah, we'll finish there because it's a little bit cold.
It's chilly. Okay, so thank you all very, very much. Sorry we had a few false starts there today.
Yeah, I hope they weren't uploaded. I'm going to have to check now. Yeah, because we'll get quite a few likes on those, or at least views.
Yeah. Okay, thank you all very much.
Hare
I hope you're
Krishna.
having a Merry Christmas over the holidays, and hope you enjoy Gita Jayanti, and looking forward to the Solar New Year. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone.
Because we're in the solar universe.
Yeah, but we follow the lunar calendar.
Well, Hare well.